You want to have the discussion with Joe ahead of time? Yeah. No, I'll do it after. We'll do it on that. Take a motion, then go into discussion, and then just ask for a brief presentation from before we go to the resolution. I would. We'll just vote on all three of them at the same time. Individual vote.
4.0.
Slightly better than what they call it.
One semester. I'll scan this and put it on the agenda. Hi. I can
How are you?
email
Good.
Hi. I might have it somewhere. It seems like I just got it today. Is it? All right. Good afternoon, everyone. It is 4:30. I'd like to begin by standing for a moment of silence, and we'll follow that with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could I have a roll call, please?
Tom Eggers. Wayne Barahona.
Here.
Brad Hunt.
Here.
Ken Snyder.
Here.
Pete Hamill.
Here. Very good. Next item up is the approval of the agenda.
Make the motion to approve.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Snyder.
Aye.
Kent.
Aye.
Barahona.
Aye.
Hamill.
Aye. We move now into the public forum portion of our meeting. Is there anyone here that would like to address the council at this time that's not already on the schedule for later on? Any written comments?
No.
All right. Then we'll move into approval of the consent agenda.
Move we approve the consent agenda.
Support. Roll call, please.
Kent.
Aye.
Hamill.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Barahona.
Aye. All right, and then we move into new business, consideration of the LED lighting upgrades. We have with us listening in from ROI Energy, Mr. Joel Hurla. Joel, I'm going to open the floor to you first and let you make your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate everybody giving me an opportunity to join you this evening, or afternoon still. Again, I'm Joe Hurla with ROI Energy. We have worked as a partner of Mid-American Mid-American Energy, for the past 3 years on this program called the Small Business Express program. Over the course of the last 2 years, that program has kind of evolved and begun to focus a little bit more on municipal governments, cities, counties, schools, primarily throughout the state of Iowa. And we began working with Sam and Todd about 3 months ago to evaluate the city's facilities and generate a proposal that you have before you in a couple of different documents that are attached. This program has been tremendous in helping local government entities increase their adoption of LED lighting technology, which helps Mid-American achieve its goals, and frankly, that the city, along with other customers, already does pay a portion of their bill toward energy efficiency programs that are essentially awarded back in grants, although they're first come, first served for eligible customers. So our role is to facilitate those projects by really managing from start to finish the completion of the upgrade. So we've already done the initial evaluation. We've been working, as I mentioned, with both Todd and Sam. We've also been working with your local electricians to begin kind of coordinating and lining them out for some of those installations. So I'm happy to answer any questions, but again, our goal would be to move forward with these LED lighting upgrades, have them completed roughly in 90 days from the approval this evening. There's a little bit of a gap with some approvals by Mid-American in the meantime. So it'll be a little bit over that would be our completion window, but we're very excited to work with the city and have appreciated the time that both Sam and Todd have put forth up to this point. So with that, I will pause and answer questions if you have any.
So explain to me just a little more. This is Mayor Gales, Joe. ROI Energy, what is your role in all of this?
Yeah, so really our role is to facilitate the project kind of to coordinate between Mid-American, the end user, the customer, in this case, City of Sheldon, to complete the project. So we do an initial site evaluation. We actually start with customer outreach. So we initiate conversations with eligible customers that are potentially a fit for the Small Business Express program. We perform site evaluation, so we have our staff members review each of the facilities' existing lighting systems, determine what the optimal energy efficiency upgrades would be, coordinate with Mid-American to ensure that we maximize the incentives that are available to you. We then provide, it's called DLC compliant or DLC listed materials that are compliant with the Mid-American Energy Program. So we order all those. We then work with local electricians who will do the physical installation. So we also manage the process, so we make sure that they're licensed and qualified electricians that are capable of doing that installation. We manage that installation that they'll perform. We provide the final inspections to ensure that everything was done in compliance with our specifications, design, and plan. And then provide at the conclusion of the project all the documentation to Mid-American. We provide post-project documentation to the city, including warranty information. Virtually everything that we're installing carries a 5-year warranty. There's a handful of exceptions like actual screw-in light bulbs, which there are not very many of, would be an exception to that. But generally speaking, everything carries a 5-year warranty. It's rated for 50,000 hours, by the way, which is more like 15 to 20 years in those cases. So we'll provide that documentation to the city, ensure that everything's closed out properly with Mid-American. Mid-American, the roughly 40, I think, % of the project that they're funding, they actually fund directly to ROI Energy, which we're then able to obviously to pay to the contractors and materials providers. And then at the conclusion of the project is when you receive an invoice for the city's portion of the cost.
Okay. Anyone else have questions for Joe? No more questions here, Joe. So, Sam, is there anything you would like to add?
No, I'll stand by for questions if there are any.
Okay.
Mayor, if I could,
Yes, please.
I would just like to add that one benefit I saw working with ROI when Sam and I were going through with them is when they did our initial assessment, then they come back and we could see the payback on all of the fixtures. So it helped us eliminate some areas that didn't simply make sense to change to LED. So we were able to trim the project by going through that, and without somebody to manage that, probably would have done none of them or all of them. So that was helpful.
And what is that payback?
Well, it's varied per building, but I mean, there's places that are a few years, and there was places that it was 15, 20 plus years that we chose not to do. Or there was other places, I'll use the pool as an example, the switching the lights around the water. We run those probably a total of, I don't know, Trevor, 5 hours a summer maybe. Replacing those didn't financially make sense, just simply based on times.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to take the information that they give us and then cross-reference it to what we think our run times are and probably get a much better idea on payback. So I found the information very useful.
Okay.
I know from personal experience, switching from all fluorescent bulbs to LED, big savings. Just in the hardware store, and yeah, you cut down on the energy use and also the heat from the bellows and that. I've just seen a lot of big savings, and we changed all the bulbs in the fire station already a number of years ago, and we haven't had a problem with them. They work good.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? All right, so then the first thing we need to consider is a resolution authorizing advancement of the cost for urban renewal project for the airport and park lighting, which would be item 2 in Sam's explanation. Is that correct? Hills Park is also listed in here. Is that part of that as well?
On the agenda, it's item 1, 2, and 3, but inside the,
So you're...
you could, if you wanted, you could just approve all three
Okay,
items under A.
okay. Okay, so yeah, there's actually everything in there then. If you're fine with doing it in one motion for all.
I'd entertain the motion to approve all three resolutions.
Okay, good. Support. Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Hamel.
Aye.
Hint.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Farahona.
Aye. All right, very good. Joe, if you're still with us, I thank you for listening in, for offering your services, and we look forward to working with you.
And I'm here. Thank you guys very much for this opportunity. We appreciate it, and we look forward to working with the council and your staff to make it a successful project. Have a great evening.
Very good. All right, moving on then to the reports. Trevor Cass is with us today. He's going to give us a report on the rec program and how that's been working out.
Thanks for having me today. First thing I'll go over is the annual recreation report, and then I'll go over the outdoor aquatic center report as well. In those packets, you should have the information I provided. First, I'll just go over numbers. We had a good year this year. We did set a record high with 1,701 participants. Last year, we had 1,660, and the year before, 1,380. So since COVID, we've been steadily rising in numbers. That's good to see. We hope that trend continues. A few things I wanted to highlight. We have 30 different youth program offerings. Of those 30 this year, 16 we had more participants than the previous year, and 12 we had fewer, and 2 we had the same amount. So numbers stayed pretty consistent. It really depends on the year, the type of program, where we get our participants from. The one thing I did want to highlight was our out-of-town participants. That's something that we continue to see growing, especially in programs where other smaller towns can't offer that. Those programs are outdoor soccer, indoor soccer, and youth flag football. The towns we pull from are Hartley, Melvin, Sanborn, Sibley, Primgar, Paulina, Sutherland. So that's where we kind of see our numbers increase from other towns. Our biggest program for out of town was outdoor soccer. For example, we had 205 total participants. Out of those 205, 61 were from out of town. I didn't include Archer and Ashton in those numbers just because they're in our school district, and then the numbers would increase more. So we do pull quite a few from Ashton and Archer as well. As far as other programming, our biggest numbers were with outdoor soccer with 205 and youth basketball with 204. So record program numbers there as well. One thing we've noticed since COVID is numbers are starting to climb back up, and the evidence in that is the previous 3 years since COVID. Something we did change last year with our scheduling as far as rec side was our summer rec programming. Something we noticed was our numbers after the 4th of July really dwindled down. So we did have programs in the past that we had after the 4th of July. Those numbers just, we'd have people gone all the time, and we'd have more staff members than we had participants at a program. So this year we started new, being done before the 4th of July, and that worked well. We didn't have as many kids skipping out on their programs, and overall attendance was better than previous years. One thing to kind of go off that is with that change, we didn't have many program offerings in the month of July. So one thing we're looking forward to doing next summer is having additional offerings in July for those that don't go on vacation, stay in town, and their kids need something to do. Easy things like golf programs, skills camps, things like that we're going to add in July. So then there is offerings for those kids that don't go on vacation, stay in town, and stuff like that. With the rec report, do you guys have any specific questions for me as long as programming goes or offerings or anything like that? Good. Then I'll go on to our adult programming for rec. So we do offer adult programs as well. Numbers are good there. We have co-ed volleyball, men's basketball league, and pickleball league. Pickleball league is something we started this spring. I used to run it when I worked out the LLRC in the shared rec coordinator position. We've now made that a city program offering, and that's a very successful program. It's booming in town. If you drive past the pickleball courts in the morning, you'll see 30 people out there in the mornings during the nice times of the year. One thing we did this year is we kind of worked in partnership with Ed Jagger and Stan Clay. They have a bunch of pickleballers, and they ran pickleball mixers 3 or 4 times this summer, and those were very successful. I know they're looking at the possibility of adding additional courts there, which we do have the space for. So that's something we'll look towards in the future as it is a successful thing they have going on there, and we'll include more programs there coming up. That's what I have for rec, so I'll kind of get started on the annual outdoor pool report. This year we were open for 75 days this year. On average, we're open for 75 days since the facility opened in 2008, so right on par with that. There were some days towards the end of the summer where it gets hard with staffing lifeguards, school sports start and everything like that. One of our big worries every year is worrying if we're going to get enough lifeguards. Everywhere struggles to hire lifeguards. It's just hard to stay competitive with, working at general stores. They can get $15 an hour. Kids see that versus doing lifeguarding. So that's something we always worry about, and we kind of work on that during the winter months to plan ahead on that. As far as hours go, something new in 2022 was that we changed our lifeguard in services to Tuesdays. That way we, during opening hours, so 1 to 2, and we now open at 2 on Tuesdays. The reason we did that is because in the past, scheduling our lifeguard in services, that's where we go over saves, first aid, emergency action plan, all that. That's where we go over all those things, and it's important to go over those in case of any emergencies happen. So we moved that to Tuesdays, and it's much easier to schedule now. We don't have to worry about scheduling those at night. So that worked well this summer. Membership sales are up. We had our most family memberships this year since 2008 with 139. So good numbers there. As far as revenue goes, our revenue was up as well. That was expected as we increased our membership prices this year. Depending on the membership, we raised them by $10 for family, single, and we raised the punch passes as well. So that's where that increase on revenue came from as well. Concessions were up as well. A few years ago, we moved to not having concessions open at all times. It's only open during our main pool breaks, and then our front desk staff and lifeguards help cover that. Just so we don't have 2 paid staff members when there might be only 1 or 2 kids that comes up to the concession stands every hour. So instead, we just do breaks. That's worked well. Staff has done well with it as well. Another thing I wanted to point out as well, when I referred to out-of-town participants, we do get some out-of-town participants as well for our swimming lessons. Out of 154, we had 25 participants from out of town. Do you guys have any specific pool questions or anything I could answer from you?
How old is the pool right now?
2008, correct?
15 years.
15 years. Yeah.
Not very new anymore.
Yeah.
So
That's all I have. If you guys don't have
maintenance-wise
any
and
other
everything,
questions.
it's performing well yet? Are we,
What's that?
maintenance-wise and everything, it's performing well?
It's
As a pool.
It's getting
No
old,
water in it.
yeah, it's getting old, things are starting to break down. What we're trying to do now is kind of preventative maintenance, getting ahead on things that we know could be breaking soon or will break down soon. With 15 years old and you think that place is only operational 3 months of the year, it sits there for 9 months. But yeah, things are starting to get old and breaking down, but we'll just try to stay ahead of it as best as we can to lessen those, so.
Start up this spring, we got more curveballs than
It was
we've
not-
ever gotten.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah. Trevor looked at me at one point and says, is it always gonna be like this? And we got through it,
Yep.
didn't we? Yeah.
Any further questions? Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Trevor.
Yep.
Thanks, Trevor. All right. Next up is our clerk's office report. Angie?
All right, I'm gonna hit on a couple of different things in our office. Cleanup days, there were 300 flags sold at $15 each and 152 stickers at $15 each for a revenue of $67.80. We also sold steel from the appliances that came to $989.50. So the total revenue was $77.69.50. For expenses, landfill was $25.46.80. Advertising, $494.80 and $452 for a total of $3493.60. None of these numbers actually factor in employee pay, benefits, or use of our trucks and equipment. Disconnects. I'm open to suggestions on how we can lower these numbers. We, on average, over the last 5 months, we've delivered 82 disconnects. That's door hangers. And on average, we've shut off 13 residences for non-payment. We really want to get those numbers lower. The state mandated reports that I have to do at this time of year, the road use report, the urban renewal report, you guys approved on September 19th. Annual finance report was on the consent tonight. I'm working on TIF certifications. Those are due 12/1. Capital improvement. I do have all of the departments turned in, and that'll be hopefully a November 15th meeting for approval. The audit is finally getting done. We actually have a meeting to review it tomorrow. Software. We are upgrading our software. It'll be our current software, but it's going to a more cloud-based software. We're going to try and do that in April. That was something that was budgeted. And then for the upcoming budget, I'm going to attend a budget workshop November 21 to try and learn more about the tax levy changes and how it's going to impact us this budget season. Any questions for me?
You hope not.
Good luck on the bill collecting.
Yeah, right. Do we implement finance charges on past due accounts?
Yeah, they get a 6% finance fee, and we charge them $25 just to hang it on their door.
Okay.
And most of them don't care.
Still doesn't matter.
No.
Okay.
Can you, do you have more and more people want to do direct deposit, direct bill paying?
You know, if they come in and they are willing to go to auto pay, I will waive the fees.
Okay,
But some of them still just won't do it.
won't do it?
Mm-mm. We might be able to do a bigger another push, but with going to our new software, I think I want to wait because I think that the customer will be able to see their bill like through our software online when we upgrade to that. Because some people complain that they don't know how much they owe because they don't look at their email or they can't find their bill, things like that. So.
Is that another option? You could do online paying? Like
Yeah,
through the
we
website?
have two apps on our website that they can pay either using a debit card, credit card, or if they use their checking account, then there's no fee.
Okay.
Mhm.
So there's options.
Yep.
Any other questions for Angie? All right, thank you for that update.
You're welcome.
Sam, is there anything that you'd like to report?
Not today.
One comment maybe you could make, you sent an email about the smoke testing, or Todd, one of you, maybe that would be a good time to...
Yes, yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I attached that under the FYI section. Todd, if you wouldn't mind hitting that in your update.
Ready?
Okay.
Yeah, so we are going to do some smoke testing on Monday, November 13th, and Tuesday, November 14th, mainly in the southerly portions of town and a little bit of the west side of town. Basically, we're going to do the entire 330th lift station area is what we're after. We did the north side of town not so long ago. Found a few issues there, and we just want to continue on with that success. So main thing is if you get smoke in your house, it's fine if you call the fire department or call 911, but think about what it is and know that we're out there doing that day. There'll be, at a minimum, 5 or 6 people out on the streets walking up and down looking for smoke during that, so they peek outside and see us, it's probably there. So if people think ahead and fill up their traps in their house, I think of when we did the north end of town, I think what we have, Brad, 3 calls.
3 calls.
And all of them were related to floor drains or some type of drain being dry. Yes, that's a nuisance when their house filled up, but also in some ways we did them a favor because if the smoke got in their house, so is sewer gas.
Sewer gas.
So, it's an important reminder for people anyway.
And if they call, we'll still come.
But, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But, yeah, so we are going to do that, and then, we'll see what else we can find. We didn't find any illegal foundation drains or roof drains in the last section. That doesn't mean we won't in this one. If we do find stuff like that, we'll be asking people to get it switched. We also have a suspicion that there's potentially a storm sewer pipe somewhere hooked in sanitary. I hope there is, because that'd be a great find, and this is a great, easy way to help us locate something like that. The other thing I have in November that I wanted to mention is we still believe Lewis and Clark will be here sometime in November. I don't have a date for you yet. The contractor is, that's working on the pipeline is still in the process of disinfecting and getting passing tests. 6 of the 17 miles have passed, and he's working on the next 4 miles as of today. So still realistic that it'll be sometime in November, so please pay attention to that, especially if you're somebody that is removing disinfectant from your water, because you'll need to change your process. And then once we get the water and we start utilizing it, then we're going to start hitting hard on helping people save some money by turning down their water softeners and reduce the salt usage, and we'll have another media blast on that.
Very good.
Is the new water tower operational?
It is not. The new water tower is still being worked on. The electricians have been doing a bunch of work on the base cone here over the last few weeks. Now that they've got all their conduits and stuff ran, it's scheduled to get, the base cone is scheduled to get insulated next week, and then we still got all of the supervisory control to get done and a few other things. But at the pace they're going, I think it's realistic to say we'll be ready to disinfect and fill it sometime yet this winter.
Okay, is that all you have?
I'll quit.
All right. Mark, anything you'd like to report?
Yeah,
Just in the process of interviews for the executive director. We'll be wrapping those up shortly, and then coming together as a group with a recommendation.
Very good. Looking forward to that. All right. Scott, is there anything you'd like to report today? All right. You've said everything you want to say? All right. Very good. Counsel to my left, anything from you? No. To my right?
Good.
Okay. The only thing I have is a reminder that next Tuesday is an important day in this, not only our community, but this country. We've got some major issue on the ballot, and so I want to encourage everyone to get out and vote, if at all possible. And that's all I have, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support. Roll call, please.
I think your point.
Hamel.
Aye.
Farahona.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye. We are adjourned. You, didn't you write the article?
Shut up.